Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. This is where we have motivational, inspiring conversations and interviews that we hope you'll enjoy listening to. If you're interested in creating more balance in your life, understanding your 5-element energetic nature, finding the path of greatest ease,
or releasing the baggage of this lifetime and discovering ancient alchemy that can help you fly in your life, join us and other inspired actioneers on this alchemical, transformational journey.
Welcome to the Inspired Action Podcast. My name is Jay, and this is pod number 39. I'm here with my co-host, Lita Herman.
Hey, Inspired Actioneers. Today, we're going to continue our conversation about the Health Palace.
Woohoo! More 9 palaces.
And last time, we talked about food, and my favorite topic is food because I'm a foodie, and diet.
Well, I think that was a great conversation. We talked about clean eating and the many approaches. That's why I love talking about it, because there's so many different ways you could do vegetarian, vegan, slow carb, and yes, even ketogenic or keto diet.
Yes, there's so many approaches to healthy eating, and we've received a lot of interest in the slow carb diet in particular. And I just wanted to remind people to go to the show notes for that pod. That's pod 38, and check it out if you want more information.
Before we get going, I just want to, talk a little bit about clean eating. It doesn't mean you have to eat a very specific diet. If you're eating keto, for example, you don't have to eat bacon and butter just because a lot of other keto people like to do that.
Keto people love their bacon.
Yeah, they take away a lot of things, but don't touch their bacon.
Touch their bacon.
As much as I love bacon, and I ate, believe me, my fair share of bacon over the last couple of years, I just don't eat bacon anymore. I can't do it. My body doesn't really like it. So it was a hard choice, but not really.
It's about finding what's right for you.
Yeah, it's personal preferences. That's what we tried to get across in the last podcast. We're going to talk more about that today. If you're finding that you want to make a change in your diet and you want to clean up your act, so to speak, do a little reading, find out what the basics that feel in alignment for you. There's so much information out there. You can go down the rabbit hole.
No rabbit. There are vegetarians listening to this.
And a lot of vegans too.
Vegans.
A lot of vegans, yes.
They're not going to want to hear about rabbits.
Speaking of that, I did read an article really this past week or so about, it was in a permaculture magazine, about raising animals in a very gentle, humane way that also does honor to the animals and the planet, because that's a big problem in this country. This article was from the UK, and it's such a divisive topic with people who eat meat for a variety of reasons and those who choose not to eat meat for a variety of those reasons. But it's all about choice. Clean eating is a personal choice about what is clean and right for you. And remind me, please, to put the link to that article in the show notes.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Permaculture.
Yeah, the permaculture article.
I'm into the permaculture, so anyone ever has any questions about how this permaculture relates to 5 elements, 9 palaces, alchemy, cool. Just shoot it my way.
Oh, that'll be awesome. And today we want to expand our topic into other really important health stuff like this. These are all really good things to ponder, like the clean eating topic. And so today we're going to bring in a whole new factor, which is sleep, and also exercise or movement of your body, and then meditation. We've talked about meditation before, but it really ties into this podcast as well.
All right. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today about all those topics you just mentioned, plus one of my all-time favorites, a little time management.
Time management, yes.
It's not that I'm like a fanatic about time, because I don't even own a watch. I used to always wear a watch, but I try to just go with the flow. I try to do things that feel right most of the time. But you know what? It's about understanding how time works and how you have so many hours every day. And what do you really want to do for yourself?
And it's about prioritizing, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, meditation, self-cultivation, movement, eating, sleeping, all the things we're going to talk about, they all flow nicely together. And, when we talk about the health palace, it's like a domino palace when I explain it to people, because when the health palace goes out of balance and really starts to affect you, other palaces will just topple just right over.
Yeah, like a row of dominoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's those small, I have actually made one of those small ones before.
Oh my God.
Not like the crazy ones you've seen online. Very small, maybe like 100 dominoes, but it was kind of cool.
And isn't also the health palace one of the dominoes that falls down when like your career is really stressful?
Or a relationship that you cannot, a toxic career or toxic job, actually.
Yeah.
Toxic job, which is in the career palace,
Yeah.
or a toxic relationship. Yeah, it can definitely rear its head, the health palace, and force you to make a decision if you can't make it yourself.
Right, because if you're like stressed out at work, the first thing that goes is maybe you don't go to your exercise routine in the morning, or you don't eat right, or you don't sleep, or you definitely don't meditate. I mean, all these things get thrown out, right?
That's a slippery slope down to like not happiness.
Well, you know what, Jay, before we continue on, we just want to remind people about some things about the podcast.
Sure. Why don't you go right ahead, Lita?
So we don't forget, because we were on a roll there. We have a Facebook group for those of you who are new.
What is that Facebook group called, Lita?
Inspired Action Podcast. There's a page and a group. So you go to the Inspired Action Podcast page, and there's a link to the group, and you just ask to sign up. And as long as you're a listener, we will gladly have you join the group.
Yes. And you could do questions, or you can just be a lurker and observe.
Yes.
Or you can, send us a video of your 5-element walks or any questions about food.
A lot of people that are working with us, either in that group or in the alchemy classes that we have, are really sending us a lot of videos of like their siblings or their children or
partners.
And it's been a lot of fun looking at the videos and trying to understand what elements they are. So we're just having a blast with it. So if you want to join in the fun, come on over to the Facebook group.
Everyone's welcome.
Check it out. Yeah.
And why don't you tell them how they could send questions to us?
Yes. And if you have a particular question that you would like to have discussed on the air, then we're inviting you to send the question to questions@inspiredactionpodcast.com. And if we use your question in a podcast, we will send you a t-shirt.
Yes, an Inspired Action t-shirt. They're wonderful and colorful and cute.
Yeah.
And I am not wearing one today.
Yes.
And, wah.
And for those of you who are also new to the podcast, we now have an app that you can use to listen to the podcast. It makes it a little easier. And we have quite a few meditations we're posting in the app. That is something that you can't get through iTunes. So if you would like to try listening to some of the Inspired Action Podcast meditations, you can go look at the app. And there will be a bunch of new meditations coming any day now.
Yeah, we recorded some and they sound really great. Lita's really good at that. She has a very relaxing voice. Everyone tells us, oh, we love Lita's voice.
So we're really excited to have that for everyone.
And the app is going to grow as we grow, and people are contacting us all over the world. So people are getting into it and we're into it.
Yes.
So if you want to keep going, get on the app and get some meditations. Okay, great. So, let's move right into this. The Health Palace is, what are the components of a healthy lifestyle? It's not just about food.
Yes, and we should mention that we started talking about the Health Palace in Pod 37. And when in that podcast, we set up really what we want to talk about for the entire health podcast. And that's a healthy mindset in general. And that's really the most important thing.
Yeah, I think, my first thing that I think of when you say that is sleep. Let's talk about sleep today.
Yes.
And why is sleep so important to our health? How about from a Chinese medicine standpoint? Let's start with that, and then I'll give you my 2.5 cents.
Okay, so in Chinese medicine, sleep is a time of letting go of your resistance. So you go through your day, busy day. You're just constantly going. Your muscles are tight. Maybe your face gets kind of in a tight, smirk.
That is not an attractive thought.
But your
face is contorted with stress.
It's like contorted with stress.
Okay, you need more than sleep. If that's what you're coming home to every day. Sleep's not going to cut
whatever it is, something's upsetting you. You have a scowl on your face all day. I'm just saying, it's maybe not every day goes like that. Hopefully you're having a happy day. But even in a happy day, you may have some resistance going on. And so when you go to bed at night and you close your eyes and you go into a dream state or a REM state or just a deep sleep state, you are releasing resistance. And that means you get to reset your body.
I like the way that reset.
Yeah, and that reset is so essential to your overall health.
My favorite way to reset that started off is through meditation, which we talk about a lot. So
yes, that's another way. It's the same idea. So if you're not sleeping well, you should definitely try meditation because you can get the same effects. And that is that while your body is in that sleep state or even the meditation state, you're rejuvenating. because
that's
we know,
another great word.
Yeah, we know the cells have to constantly go through this rejuvenation process. You know, our body's cells die off and then we create new ones, and we're in this constant, regenerating process. That's why we can heal. We regenerate things. It's an amazing, the body is so amazing. And in Chinese
It knows what to do.
Yeah. I always say my body knows how to do it right.
Yeah, we just don't let it do it right.
Yes.
One of the big things I'm always dealing with people are these smartphones and computers and iPads.
Right.
They're on them all night long, and then they turn them off at, like, let's just say 11 o'clock, and they need to go to bed at 11 o'clock. They turn them off at 10:55, and they think they're going to go right to sleep. Their body is like, whoa.
They're like sleeping, clutching their whoobies.
Yes. Yes, I love that. The whoobies, they're like the little blankets that we used to have when we were kids.
They're little whoopie blankets is the smartphones.
Yeah. It
They're
used
like
to be
teddy bears.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Teddy bears, and now it's smartphones. So you have to put your whoopie to bed ahead of time, at least an hour or two. And the science behind that is the cortisol levels go up when you're stimulated on your phones, and the melatonin goes down. So the time that goes after you turn your devices off, the cortisol comes down, the melatonin goes up, and when they meet and they start to balance, that's when you can start to fall asleep, and then the melatonin goes up.
Wow.
So the more we're on. So if you want to look at your devices or whatever before bed, you have to give an hour or two for your body to say, okay, now I get it. I'm not being stimulated. I'm not ready to go into someone else's drama or event, or, you think about it. You stare at your screen and you're looking at photographs. You have to process those photographs. You look at a video. You have to process it. You laugh, you cry, you react. And this is over and over and over and over and over. How does your body know when to rejuvenate, when to hit the reset button?
Right. And, we're dating ourselves if we say that we did not grow up with smartphones.
Correct.
I guess there's whole generations now who, even look at a book in a magazine and want to swipe.
Yeah, we always have that video we talk about of the baby with the iPad.
Yeah.
And they're swiping the things. And
they're on a magazine and they're trying to swipe it like an iPad.
First they have the iPad and the baby's swiping the things. They take the iPad away. They put the magazine in front of the baby, and the baby's trying to swipe it.
And,
that's insane if you think about that.
And I just think they're not going to even know what to do with a book. And I was thinking, when you were talking about sleep, Jay, I used to put myself to sleep every night as a kid reading a book.
Absolutely. That's totally what people should start to do.
And it has a completely different effect than when you look at your iPhone. If you're looking at your iPhone or an iPad, it stimulates something. When you're reading a book, it has the opposite effect.
Yes.
It has a kind of drowsing effect.
Yes, and maybe not pick the most riveting, emotional, crazy ride book, but there's so many books out there. That's
really good.
maybe a nice story or something that you kind of lulls you into quiet. You know, that quietude. I love that word. The quietude of getting ready for sleep. So
I have to admit, I spent many of my teenage years not sleeping at night because I was reading a good book. So I guess it can go both ways.
Well, I think your body will fall into sleep easier if you're doing something. I guess old school now is reading a book, but you know what? I'm going to throw that challenge out there. Let's talk about it in our group. What's the last time you read a book, Lita? You read a lot. I read a lot. But what's the last time you actually read a book for pleasure?
A physical book.
Yeah, physical book for pleasure. Yeah. I hear crickets. Cricket, cricket, cricket.
Wow.
Yeah. I have a nice stack on the next to my nightstand. And I always look at them. But
I'm reading a book that I can't get any other way but in a physical book. And that's on meditation, Chinese meditation, Taoist meditation.
So that's pleasure. That's not work.
Well, it's all of my Taoist meditation stuff is pleasure.
We haven't mentioned Audible in a while, but I know you listen to a lot of books.
Yes.
What are you listening to right now? Wait, don't say it. We'll say it at the end.
Okay.
So we can let listeners get a chance to get the Audible.
I'm listening to a really good one.
We're back into Audible, full swing now. We haven't been. We've been so busy. But all right, so let's go back to, we're talking about cell phones, computers, iPads, iPods, whatever you have that's stimulating you, you have to give your body time to adjust. And, if you're a light sleeper like me, it's very difficult to put down a device at night, even when it's coming up. So you have to kind of adjust yourself, put the devices in the other side of the house, plug in your phone in the hallway if you have to, all these steps that we talked about, because really you have to think 1 to 2 hours.
You know, I mean, I have the cell phone addiction, a smartphone addiction like everyone else. And the only way I can force myself to not, you know, continuously check it by my bed is I made a little bed for it over in another room. And that's
Tuck
where
it
the
in.
charging station is. And I tuck it in at night and then I go to bed. And if I put another charging cable next to my bed, guess what? It's not going to...
So you fall back into the old habits.
It's going to fall back. Yep. I'm going to one day go, oh, I just need to look up blah, blah, blah. And I'll just plug it in here. And then boom, I'm back in. It really is an addiction.
Well, I think, I really think that everyone has some form of this smartphone, iPhone, whatever you want to call it. I guess the word
Obsession?
I'm looking for. Obsession? No. I think almost dependability. We depend on them now.
Yes, we really
do.
do.
The other day I was driving. I was going to a friend of mine's house. They have a new address. I didn't really know the address. And I call and they give me the address. And I was in my not smart car, my old car. So I had to use GPS on my phone. My phone died.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do. So I pulled over, I plugged it into the, I have one of those little spare chargers, but I'm like sitting there thinking, wow, what did you do 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Did you have a map? Did you ask for directions? Did you have a conversation? I was like, I had like a 1 minute of like, whoa, what do I do? Of course, obviously I wasn't in any kind of danger, but that was a moment of, I'm so dependent on the phone.
Yeah. So I really think it's about making some rules for yourself.
Yeah, boundaries.
Yes. And this is going to be, again, just like eating, your own rules. What's in alignment with you? But some examples are putting your phone to bed in another room, for example. Maybe setting times that you're going to turn the phone off. Like maybe you don't read or touch a phone or device an hour before bed.
At least an hour if you're trying to if you've had a very busy day and you've done a lot of time on devices or watch TV or movies or anything like that, you need to factor in at least an extra 2 hours.
Yeah, why do they keep us up? I don't really understand why they stimulate something in your brain. It's that cortisol.
The blue light and the cortisol, and it's just this intensity.
Oh, talk about the blue light in the glasses.
Yeah, so there's a couple things you can do. And again, you know, I've had sleep challenges over the last couple of years, and I've tried just about everything. I've tried just about everything, but you know, some things work. So definitely the adjusting of the time, and I think putting your devices as far as away in the house as you can do it. I think there's a thing for the computers called Flux.
Oh, yeah.
Flux. It's free. You just put it on and it sets the time. It comes on automatically. So I like that.
You told me about Flux and I was a little skeptical, but I have to say it really is easier on my eyes at night. Like my eyes feel more relaxed. That's all I can say. It's a weird thing, but it really works.
Yeah, and there's different ones. You don't have to do the Flux. And then the iPhone and the iPad, they have this option now built right in. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe night vision or something. Yeah. So it's free. It's in your phone. You can give that a try. I use that all the time. And then what I'm experimenting with right now is these blue blocking orange glasses that I wear at night. They're like my readers. And yeah, they look kind of super nerdy, kind of weird. But you know what? I do think they relax my eyes even a little bit more.
That's great.
But I've been kind of wearing them even, I have a reading pair. So when I turn off the device and I go to read something, I even wear those at night too. So it's a little darker, but I'm kind of digging it. And then I'm hoping all these things bring the cortisol down, the melatonin up, your body gets ready. They know it knows it's time to go to sleep.
Right.
And then I have my favorite old school trick is my nighttime eye mask.
Yes.
It's like, you know,
the kind my uncle used to wear, my great uncle.
They have all different ones, so you can definitely experiment with those. But you know what? That still works because you need to block out the light. There's little things like these. You can also change the bulbs in your lamps. Now we all got those twisty ones. They say those aren't really great for you. If you're trying to reduce these blue blocking, you can go back to a halogen bulb if you can still find them. There's also other specialty bulbs you can get. And you can also get light blocking curtains or shades for your windows. You need to have it dark. You can get these little stickers. If you look around your house at night and you're in the bedroom and you have like insomnia and you see the clock has got white things and the stove and the different things, they have these little stickers now that actually block electronics.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah, my clock is kind of annoying. I got this great night clock, so I don't have a phone near my bed for my alarm, but but it has light.
Yeah, you could maybe, some of the more newer ones, you can dim that down too.
Yeah.
So you have to think about that. So you can get the stickers. You can also use black electrical tape. That'll work just as fine. You don't have to buy any fancy stickers if you don't want to. And then temperature of the room.
Oh, yeah.
So the dark from the window, so you can get shades or curtains, but you have to look at the temperature. So the ideal temperature, believe it or not, is closer to 65. Most people like it 68, 69, 70, but the cooler your body, it's easier to go to sleep.
And what about people who tell me they sleep at 55, which I think is too cold?
That's a little cold.
Is
I think, I don't think there's any hard, fast rules on where the danger zone is, but if you're comfortable and you're sleeping okay at 55,
then that's fine.
And your partner's not like freezing, then you can think about that's okay. But I from what I've read, 65-ish is the ideal.
And what if you're living in a building where you can't control the heat?
Well, one of the things you can do is open a window.
Yeah.
How about that old school
there
concept?
You go, old school again.
But again, in Chinese medicine, you don't want that window blowing on you.
You don't want,
right?
You don't want to open the wind, get wind on your neck.
Right. So, but one of the things they do have now is a device called a chili pad.
Oh, yeah.
Which I do own. And it's a little machine that goes by the bed. And then you have this like pad, think of like a electric blanket, but they shoots water through it. You don't hear it or anything, but it cools it down. So I have mine set at like 66.
Yeah.
And because I sleep kind of hot. And that works for me. I have a very warm place, like a warm room, so I can't get the temperature down through unless I open a window. So the chili pad works.
That's great. I bet a lot of people have a problem with temperature at night.
Yeah, and also if you have a partner, one's hot, one's cold, you can kind of adjust it. You get the chili pad for yourself, or they have double ones. And I think that for me, I've been using it for a couple of years now. It also doubles as a kind of like a white noise machine.
Oh, it has a sound.
Yeah, it's very, very low. But I do notice that when it's off, then, you don't hear it. And then you put it on, it's like, oh, it kind of dulls some of the noises around.
Oh, good.
And then I'm looking at my list here. I also have caffeine, which we also have a lot of people have a challenge with that. So if you're sensitive, at least 5 hours before you go to bed.
Wow.
That's minimum. So if you're trying to go to bed at 10, no of the baba juice there after 5 o'clock.
Jay
so
calls
we have
it her baba.
whoopies, we have babas, yeah. So the phone and the caffeine, you have to look at those things.
I'm just blessed with, I can literally drink an espresso and fall asleep 10 minutes later. I don't know why. So I have great sympathy for people who can't do that.
I'm one of those people who cannot have caffeine late in the day, or I will just be staring at the ceiling.
Yeah.
Or the inside of my eye patch.
Yeah.
Because I can't really see anything. And then they have, I wrote down some fun things. There's some technology out there. There's some far infrared cool things. And one of the...
What's far infrared?
It's like this type of energy. It's like the spectrum of the energy. And think of so what I was going to talk about is Tom Brady, the football guy.
Yes.
Patriots. If anyone listens knows that I'm a fan. Lita's a fan by proxy.
I'm not really a fan of football.
No, you like Tom Brady though, right?
I do like Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is cool. He has his own Chinese medicine practitioner that travels with him, and he's really up on all cool things.
He eats a lot of clean food. He's a big clean eater.
Yeah.
He basically does keto.
And he also is vegan sometimes, right?
And vegetarian for sure. I think vegan, yeah.
Or yeah.
And so he does a lot of different clean eating things, but he has these pajamas that they've invented for him. I'm not going to mention the company since I don't really support them for personal reasons. But if you Google it, you'll see if you put in Tom Brady's pajamas and you're not a freak, no, you'll get these infrared, these far infrared. They have taken this technology and they've fused it into this fabric.
Oh, wow.
So you put the pajamas on and they kind of help your body heal at night. And I think it's a temperature adjustment. It's also some cool things that help you recover and reduce. So if you're an athlete or you're someone who does a lot of activities, check out the pajamas. They're a little pricey, but I love the technology behind it. And who knows where it's going to go.
That could help a lot of people who need recovery.
I think they were kind of invented when Tom Brady got injured, and he had this special sleeve of this infrared technology on his hand when he got the cut on the thumb. And so this company, this big sportswear company, took the technology, developed it, put it in the pajamas. So if you get muscle pulls, or if you're running, or you're working out, and you wear these pajamas, supposedly you'll feel better in the morning. You'll just, get these benefits
That sounds great.
So if you're into the Tom Brady or his pajamas, check it out.
I think it sounds like it would be good for people who have fibromyalgia because they don't recover as well at night. So, possibly it's something that would help them.
Just Google Tom Brady's pajamas.
Yeah.
Not Tom Brady in his pajamas.
No. Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would like to do that. But no, Tom Brady pajamas, it's a big, giant sports company. Like I said, I'm not going to mention who, but you'll see who it is. And they're kind of cool. I love the technology, and I wish them well with those pajamas. But there's also body regulating temperature sheets that you can get for your bed.
Cool.
You can also get a massage from your local massage person.
Right.
Give them a little business. You could schedule that on a regular basis.
And the idea there is that if you relax your body through massage, then you'll be more likely to fall asleep at night.
Sure. And the toxins will be kind of brought out and stuff.
Right.
So, regular massages would definitely help if you have a serious sleep problem or challenge, I'd like to say. There's also float deprivation tanks. We have a local one in our town, which I love to do. It's I think it's very relaxing. I love to do it at the end of the day, and actually
they claim, and I don't know if this is accurate.
They claim? Who's they?
They say that 1 hour of floating in these float tanks is equal to 4 hours of sleep. So that's the idea we were talking about with meditation, that when you meditate, your body gets to relax and rejuvenate. And so what they're saying is by going in these tanks where you don't hear anything, you don't see anything.
You're in salt water.
You're
like
floating.
Epsom
so you don't... Yep. Yeah, you don't even have a sense of where your body begins and ends.
Yeah.
And so
the temperature's controlled, the water in the air.
So
it's exactly the same.
It is like sleep because when you're sleeping, you have no sense of anything around you.
I know the nights that I float in the tank, I sleep like a baby.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then if you can't get to a float tank or a massage, you could do the Tibetan incense. We've talked a lot about that.
Yes.
It's the lung incense.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool. We'll put a link in that again.
Actually, we're selling that at our clinic now. So I'll put a link in where
you can buy it if you want. It's not expensive.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not addictive. It's not anything in it that's really toxic.
Got really healthy things.
Yeah.
In it.
Very, very good ingredients. So, and then like I said, when we first started this conversation, my favorite is a meditation.
Yes, and I would like to say again about the app that we have. The Letting Go meditation is also available on our website. I believe it's around pod 8 or pod 10 that you can find the Letting Go meditation, but it's easier to just go find the app. And if you look under meditations in the app, you'll see that we have a free letting go meditation.
Yeah, I love that meditation. I do it much quicker now, but in the beginning, it really helped a lot.
And it's specifically for nighttime because you want to go to sleep letting go of all of the day's thoughts. So if you have that thing that
scowl on your face that you mentioned,
you can't let go of, you're going to tell that person tomorrow, and you have a story in your head, and you're just going around and around and around. I mean, we've all had those nights, right?
Let that bleep go. Let that bleep go.
So the letting go meditation will help you.
Yeah.
And there's also the Tibetan head roll, which we talked about.
Did you look at my list? That's coming up on my list next. I'm like, hey, you just took my list.
Yeah, the Tibetan head roll is fantastic. And for me, if I can't sleep, which is rare, I do the Tibetan head roll.
Yeah.
And that is where you roll your head one direction and then the other direction. It takes about 7 minutes to roll one direction. So 15
minutes if you go a little extra on each.
And I usually don't make it if it's like late at night. I don't make the whole 50 minutes. I'm asleep.
Many a night I've done the Tibetan head roll. I've lit the incense and I start the head roll, and it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everyone about that cool tip, that little trick you taught me about the point for Chinese medicine?
Good idea. I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner. I think one of my favorite points for sleep is a point on your palm. It's called pericardium 8. And if you make a fist, where your middle finger...
A happy fist.
A happy fist, yes. Where your finger lands, your middle finger...
Oh, isn't that ironic?
Isn't that ironic? It's a love point.
There you go.
It's all about your middle finger. Where your middle finger lands on the crease in your hand, that is the point. It's the deepest part of your palm. It's not right in the center, but it's definitely below your middle finger.
What's that called?
That is called pericardium 8. And it is a point that I love for sleep. So a lot of people who have sleep issues, the reason they can't sleep is, and I think this is primarily Jay's issue, it's hard to settle your mind. If you're wood and you're like, your mind's going 1,000 miles a minute.
Or water wood.
Yeah. Then, you've got a lot going on in your head. And in Chinese medicine, I like to think of this image. If there's a tree with a bunch of birds on it and someone shakes the tree, all the birds flutter around. They don't settle. So you can think of your spirit at night as the birds in the tree, and you want all those birds to settle down on the branches and go to sleep.
Tuck their little heads on
Tuck
their
their little heads
wings.
under. Yes.
Oh, life is good. It's time to go to sleep now.
Right, and nobody's shaking that tree. And so pericardium 8, the one on your palm, it helps settle your spirit back down on the tree like a bird.
Thank you. I
There
know
you
I've
go.
used it for quite a few years now.
And it's on both hands. And some people do it simultaneously using the fist, basically where their finger lands is where the point is. Or you can use your pointer finger on one hand to stimulate the point on the other hand, which is how I like to do it. I think it's a little bit more effective is you take your left hand and you hold the point on your right hand and vice versa. But however you want to do it at night, when you're tired, trying to fall asleep, then that's what you should do.
I also get a question once in a while about exercise. A lot of people exercise at night, and that gets your body revved up. So if you have a choice and you can work it in your schedule, do your exercise early in the day.
That's a good point.
Because your body gets all, worked up and all kinds of things are going, and then you try to relax.
Yeah.
But then again, you know what? I'm going to say this in the same breath. If you exercise at night and you sleep like a baby, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay?
See, it's personal
Don't
preference.
change.
Yes.
But if you're really struggling and you're trying to get some kind of change, think about when are you getting your exercise in.
And, we want to talk, too, just about exercise in general, not related to sleep. Because exercise is really important for your health.
Yeah, so let's slide into the health of how exercise. I call it movement, moving your chi.
Yes.
Lita, you always say that all the time. You have to move your chi.
Yes, because there's something called chi stagnation, and that's when the chi in your body isn't moving like it should, and it's really difficult on your body. So your body's energy needs to be moving inside of you. So if you're sitting in a chair all day at work or, being a couch potato watching TV all night, especially when you sat all day, when does your body get to move its chi?
So what is really chi stagnation about? Tell me about that.
Well, here's the thing. Chi stagnation is not just about movement and exercise or lack thereof. It's also what happens when you're really emotional.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because so many times we're really reacting and we're emotional in the world, and that stagnates the chi. Because, how many times have you been really angry, for example? And
I'm a wood person, so I get frustrated.
Yeah.
And I'll use the air quotes, angry a little bit, probably more than other elements.
So just imagine when you're angry and you want to make a fist. Okay, so now you've made a fist, and maybe it's a metaphorical fist. You're not actually showing people you're making a fist.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that anymore in this world.
But inside you're like, "Argh," right? So now all the chi in your diaphragm and your chest is blocked.
Yeah.
Because you're mad, and it's like now everything is stagnant.
So if you exercise and you move all these things through either kundalini or yoga or running or whatever you're doing, Tai Chi for sure, Qigong, so that moves the stuck emotions out, correct?
Yes. And those stuck emotions become toxic to your body if you can't move them out. So if you walk around like a powder keg all the time and you're pissed.
That's beef. I guess we could say pissed.
Yeah,
right?
we can say pissed.
Okay,
you're pissed to hell.
delete that
How's
beep.
that?
Yeah.
You're pissed to hell. And you're not going to take it anymore. Well, your body is not going to take it very long.
I think you need to go move some chi over there.
I know. I'm getting myself all worked up.
Well, if you were to water, we have a lot of emotions and a lot of drama. And so I think really
wood
it's
and
critical.
water seem to be, the elements of wood and water need to move their body the most. I mean, we all need to move our body. But I think there is something about wood and water. Water people tell me that they don't feel calm inside unless they've exercised during the day.
And I mean every day exercise.
day.
They have to. If I have a wood person or a water person who's stuck, we go right to this and start talking about it. And almost every single time they're stagnant.
Yeah. And the reason wood people need to move their body a little different than water, it's not that it helps them too feel calm, but it's more that their tendons and ligaments and muscles in their body get taut and tight, and then they don't release. And so the stagnation is particularly in the muscles, and that's why they need to do more aerobic type of exercises. They really need to kind of get all those muscles moving again to move out the stuck emotions, move out the stuck chi.
Yeah, and for all you people out there who saying, you know what, I just can't exercise, I can't do it, guess what? There's another way to do that.
Wow.
Massage.
Or like a cheat.
Like a massage cheat. So if you get a massage, you can see in China, there's massage places everywhere.
Yes.
So you have told me, Lita, that it moves the chi.
Yeah, and it is kind of like cheating, because you really could just say, I don't like exercise, I'm just going to go get a massage.
There you go.
There you go.
So keep that in mind. If you're having one of those periods in your life where you just can't get out there and do stuff, get a massage.
Yeah, get a massage. So all of these things, just to summarize,
there's so many. If we overloaded, sorry.
Yeah, and probably we've only just barely scratched the surface, but everything we're talking about today is about how do you get your body more relaxed? How do you get your body rejuvenating itself, recuperating from stress or overuse?
So you don't have to go buy the Brady pajamas.
No. Jay is wood, so she loves gear. So
yes, no, you do not have to get the gear for this. This is actually the you can all the gear I talked about, but you don't really need any of it. Those could be crutches.
Well, they're also useful for many people.
Useful. I use a lot of them.
Yeah, and we didn't mention again the clock that I talked about.
It's a really cool clock. Let's put that in the show notes, which we haven't already. It's kind of like a sundown, sunrise, gentle clock.
Yeah, so instead of like at 6 a.m. or whenever you get up, you get this like a half hour beforehand. It's like a sun. It literally looks like a round, orb next to your bed, and the light comes on very slowly. So it starts at 0 and goes up to 20, let's say, and it does it over half an hour. So by the time the pretty music, not the but the like wake up now music starts gently in your ear, you also have this like bright light. And so you're, especially in the winter, or if you have your blackout curtains.
So that would be for the circadian rhythms.
Right.
Set your clock. It's very nice. It kind of gets you into balance.
Yes.
Gives you your body a time to wake up.
So that's a great piece of gear.
Yeah. So the gear, I would say the top gear that I really love the most is my chili pad.
Yes.
I would say these new funky glasses I'm kind of digging at night because I was really having some eye strain. I think this helped a lot. My old school night mask, which also covers parts of my ears.
And for me, because I don't have a problem sleeping, I have a problem getting up. The clock was really
that's
amazing.
Because you get up at 5 a.m.
Well, yeah, that too. But I sleep really well, and I'm tired. I'm sometimes tired in the morning. That's why I eat keto, because it makes me less tired. But in the morning, I do feel tired, and this clock has been amazing. Yeah. And I suppose you could at least play a beautiful song instead of on your iPhone. You could do that.
No, iPhones
but then
across
the iPhone's
room.
next to your bed.
Yes, we don't want the iPhones near
problem.
Anywhere near you.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone in a session, and they said they now put it in their closet because of me.
That's great.
I'm like, great, whatever works. And then you can look at some of the gear that works for you. Also, old school, get a massage, or do some light. Sometimes people like to do a walk at night. That kind of sets this habit of I go for a walk, then I'll read a book, or maybe I'll do the head roll or the massage, the meditation.
Yes.
Well, so start a habit. Don't just wing it every night at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. Oh, it's time to go to bed, and think your body's going to be able to flip that switch in like 1 minute.
Why don't we say for homework, people can think over these things and then actually write down. So you have a commitment to yourself.
Yeah, I would say from
write
like
down
9 o'clock.
your plan.
So if you go to bed at 9 o'clock, your plan starts at 7.
Yeah, what's your nighttime plan?
So 2 hours. So 2 hours before.
Yeah.
And we could talk about books. You can ask we can show you how to do the head roll. We could talk about the Tibetan incense. We'll put all the links in the show notes.
Yes.
And so really, I would say the big challenge that I'm going to throw down is read a book. try to go super old school, actually read a book.
Read a book. Not too exciting book.
Yeah, you can wear your funky glasses.
Yeah. Like, don't read Hunger Games before bed.
No. All right. Well, that's a great place to end.
Yes.
Not on the Hunger Games, since we were talking about food.
And I just want to give you a preview of the next episode, because we're going to continue one more podcast on health. And this particular one is again about resistance. All of this is about resistance, but it's about the common cold and why we get these common colds. Why do we get sick? And how can we do it a little differently and really get to the point where we're not sick all the time?
I love it. It's a big show.
Yeah.
We're going to make it kind of interesting, we hope. And we're going to give you a lot more tips on how to rock this health palace.
Yes.
All right, so that's it for today. Keep sending questions to us. We read all of them. Both of us read them. And if you have a moment, please rate and review this podcast. You really do matter. You make a difference. The more people who hear about this podcast, the merrier. We love everyone who's listening to the show. It's really been a lot of fun for us. And let's talk about the Audible book.
All right.
Whee! I know I can't wait. You talk about it because I love the book that you're listening to. I'm going to listen to it next.
It's a really awesome book. It's called Solve for Happy. And if I haven't told you before in the podcast, I used to be a systems engineer. So I was a bit of a tech nerd. And what I love about this book, it really summarizes a lot of the concepts of this podcast about how to live a happier life. You know, it brings in some of the Abraham stuff. It brings in some of the Eckhart Tolle stuff. But what I love about this guy is he talks about happiness like an engineer does.
So I believe the author's name is Mo Gaudat. I don't know how to say it. It's Gawdat. He looks like an awesome guy, big family guy. And I have listened to snippets of it, but I'm looking forward to listening to the book on Audible. Okay, so if you want to check out the book on Audible, why not check it out free for 30 days on us? You get a 30-day test drive. You get to go around and look at Solve for Happy.
Yes.
Or is it Solve for Happiness?
Solve for Happy.
Solve for Happy, or any book that you want. Free, zippo, nada, no dineros, nothing but free from the Audible trial. So go to audibletrial.com/, haven't done that in a while, Inspired Action, and get any book you want on us free for 30 days.
Awesome. Great. That's it. So check out the book and have a good day.
Yeah, and then maybe you can solve for happy.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one. Bye. You've been listening to the Inspired Action podcast, and you've reached the end. Woohoo! Why not celebrate a little bit and click that subscribe button right there. We love having you with us on this journey, and we want it to continue.
You can also rate and review this podcast. And if you have already, thank you so much. We read all reviews, and your reviews help other people find this podcast as well. You can also be a part of this podcast yourself by submitting a voice recording message and emailing it to us at lita@inspiredactionpodcast.com or jay@inspiredactionpodcast.com.
And if you want, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Instagram.
Join us next week for another Inspired Action conversation. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, and remember to hug the dog.